Since birth, you were molded and trained to be what somebody else wanted you to be. Then you got a little bit older. You start forming your own opinions. You started seeing things a little bit different, and slowly started becoming your own individual. But just like when you were a baby, as you got older, the world started to mold you. Your peers started to mold you. And you slowly started to conform and become what everybody else wanted you to be. And then the day came that you finally realized that being what they wanted you to be wasn't enough. Being who they wanted you to be made you feel some type of way on the inside. You realized something wasn't right. You wasn't being true to yourself. But then when you thought about making the changes that were necessary for you to find the real you, the fear struck. You were worried about what they were gonna think. You were worried about how the world would see you. You were worried about losing friends and family if you allowed the real you, the true you, the essence of who you really are, to find its way to the surface. If you can change the way you see yourself, don't you realize you will change your life? See, it's not about what they think about you. It's not about how they feel about you. The most important thing is how you feel about you, how you see yourself. Right, wrong, or indifferent, you must find a way to be true to yourself. You've wasted so many years worrying about what everybody else thinks about you. You've wasted so many years trying to be everything to everybody else, but not true to yourself. Don't you get it? The way you see yourself, the way you feel about yourself will have a tremendous impact on how far you go in this life, or whether or not you fulfill your destiny, or whether or not you leave a long-lasting legacy. You must be true to yourself. I need you to go stand in front of a mirror and just take a moment and stare at you. Are you looking at the real you or an imposter? Are you looking at the real you or a fake? Are you looking at the real you or a phony? I'm telling you right now to your face, the same way you let them change you, the same way you let them reprogram you, you have all of the power to reprogram yourself and become the person that you truly want to be. Your entire life, your entire existence is dependent on you to become who you really are meant to be, to become who you truly are. So let the mindset shift begin. I want you to be brave enough to make the necessary shifts, to make the necessary changes, to make the necessary adjustments, to put yourself in position to win. I don't care what they think. I don't care how that makes them feel. This is your will. This is your choice. This is your decision. For far too long, you've allowed the world, you've allowed your friends, you've allowed your family to paint the picture of you. It's like they took your canvas and they created the picture. That's not who you are. So it's okay for you to stand up for yourself. It's okay for you to change the way you see yourself and force them to see you the way you see you, the real you. Will the real you please stand up? Because you already know you've allowed them to dictate your life under their terms and conditions. But now it's time for you to rip that contract up, put it in a shredder, and rewrite that contract. And anybody in your life that wants to continue to be in your life has to follow your terms and conditions on who you are and on how you want to live and on what you want to do and how you see yourself. The way you see yourself needs to be exactly how they see you, not vice versa. Stop letting people brainwash you into being the way that they want you to be. It's time for you to flip that switch. Don't think you're the only person that ever had to deal with other people trying to program them to be what they wanted them to be. I had to go through the same thing. I had a business partner, and I allowed my business partner to program his thought process into my thought process. So I just followed his lead on everything, and I lost a piece of myself. And the same way I told you, I went and stood in front of a mirror and I asked myself, Fri, who are you? What do you stand for? What do you think about this situation? Will the real you please stand up? And I chose to stand up. And I took a moment and I thought about everything this person had said. And I thought about everything this person had us doing. And I realized I didn't stand on the same beliefs that person did. And I also realized that that was okay. And so I stood up and told myself, from this day forward, I will not allow somebody else's vision to be my vision. I'm rolling with my vision. And if our visions are not aligned, so what? And I made the necessary adjustments and I made the necessary changes. And was it easy? No. But it's never easy when we feel like we're gonna hurt somebody. It's never easy when we feel like we're gonna let somebody down. But I had to stand my ground. And I'm telling you right now, stand your ground. Change the way you see yourself. Because when I did, I sat down and I asked myself the hard questions. But I came up with a solution. And it forced me to step away from my partner and bet on myself. I challenge you to bet on yourself. I challenge you to bet on the real you. I challenge you to find out who the real you is. Because when you do, your life will explode. Success will find its way to you. Positive energy will find its way to you. Because that's exactly what happened to me. When I rolled out my new plan, the real me plan, instantly it was a hit. Instantly it was a success. Instantly everything changed in my life. And the same thing can happen for you. Change the way you see yourself. Stop being blinded by those around you. Stop being blinded by your culture. Stop being blinded by the world. Snatch those blinders off and figure out who you really are. And fight through the dark days, and fight through the rough patches, and fight through the hard times until you arrive at the doorsteps of the real you. You gotta treat yourself like a computer and don't just reboot. I need you to wipe that old program off and reformat that hard drive and load in a new you, a winning operating system. And when they see you start to make those changes, oh yeah, they're gonna try to make you doubt yourself. When I started making that change, my old business partner said, you don't wanna be out there by yourself, trying to plant those seeds of doubt. And if you're not careful, you start thinking the exact same way, sabotaging all of the progress you've made. And before you know it, you start letting those negative thoughts, negative voices creep into your brain. And that's the exact moment that I shock you back into your senses and remind you to shut down those negative thoughts and negative voices each and every time they pop into your brain. See, the late, great Bruce Lee said, don't speak negatively about yourself, even as a joke. Your body doesn't know the difference. Words are energy and cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. Change the way you speak about yourself and you can change your life. What you're not changing, you're also choosing. This is your life, and you have the power to change the way you see yourself. And you won't go back to the old you. This is a great day to win.